Hey, welcome into the Unfiltered Sports Network. I am your host, Todd Fox. And on today's show, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff, but mainly we're going to be talking about the WNBA, the NBA, how it relates to one another, how the NBA has slipped. But we're also going to incorporate how things have worked out against the WNBA as far as comparing them to Marvel and DC, what's going on with recent movies in general, on how a specific message is being pushed. And I think you can, if you see my points and you can stay through the video, you'll see exactly what I mean. How Marvel, DC slash Disney, whatever you want to call it, and the way that movies are being made today is the same way that sports is being pushed on me and you, as far as ESPN, FS1, the media in general is pushing a specific narrative on a male dominated genre. And it's bothersome to those who have been longtime fans like myself. There's also this little sector of people that, younger fans that are like, well, what's wrong with it? Like they don't really see it at first, but it affects the overall game. Like, case in point, let's talk about the All-Star game first. And trust me, I'll make all this make sense. But the NBA All-Star game, they scored a record almost 400 points total, 211 points. That's no defense. They had 100 points at halftime. So basically, they're out there. It's worse than an exhibition. The NFL finally got the memo and decided, hey, players don't want to get hurt, so they canceled the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Fame, but the All-Star game for them, which is a Pro Bowl, and they decided to make it some stupid-ass flag football game, which nobody cares about. Get rid of the thing in general, and we're all good. Major League Baseball has the only effective All-Star game right now where players play. It's hard to rig. You can't really just screw around. Maybe you could throw at someone's head, and you could joke in the box, but for the most part, you got to play the game like a regular game. And most baseball games, even exhibitions, are pretty good as far as the talent wise and as far as how the game flows. But NBA All-Star games, they tend not to play any defense. It's razzle dazzle, it's 3-point shooting. The game itself has suffered thanks to Adam Silver, Commissioner Penis Head, installing no defense and emphasizing offense. So with that out of the way, the WNBA is always saying, who's got next? We got next. And they're pushing the narrative always about, hey, we got to get paid. We got to get paid. The league has never, and I mean never, in its existence made any money whatsoever. They are funded by the NBA. The moment the NBA pulls the plug is the moment the WNBA is over. But the NBA is bent over because no matter how much they're losing a year, which is over 10 million a year on the WNBA, and they're expanding a league that doesn't make money, makes no sense. The only reason why they're doing that, how bad would it look if a male decided to say, hey, you know what, these females can't work anymore? In today's day and age, that doesn't work. They're forced, and I mean forced, to continue to fund the WNBA, no matter how bad the product is. Some people have said over the last few years the product's gotten a lot better. But how? And you saw that the NBA is trying everything. Even at the All-Star game, they bring in a 3-point shooter to face Stephen Curry, who, again, he's playing versus a girl who is using a smaller basketball. So, of course, she's going to make more baskets, and that's fine. But male versus female thing, that was like a tennis thing from back in the day, trying to get ratings. It didn't work. The ratings are falling in the NBA because the sport has taken a dive and really has disrespected its fans, kicking them out all the time, not caring about the scoring, no defense, load management. So when you pay for money to go see a superstar play, he sits out. It's terrible. The NBA is in a ratings free fall right now. But what are they doing, though, in sports media when it comes to the female? They are pushing a narrative that the WNBA is still the crown princess of sports as far as female sports. You got to go there to play and to get recognized. Well, not really. Nobody watches. The average player, or the base salary for a regular player in the WNBA, is less than what I make a year, $65,000 a year. That's nothing. So you say, damn, that's not a lot of money. That's a professional league. They should be making more. Well, they're not making anything. They're lucky to get that. And they're talking And this is a problem that pisses off male audiences and even female audiences. These women who don't make money, whether it's their fault, the marketing, or whatever, the fact that they're still complaining and coming at me and you and saying, hey, we need to get paid more. We need to get paid more. The NBA needs to help us more. The players need to be more respectful to us. It's like, bro, then put a better product out there. Because here's my thing. With all the new college rules now to where players can get paid for their likenesses and their name, and actually, because they're just not even 10 years ago, you would get an entire college be sanctioned for the fact that they gave money from boosters to some of these players to survive. Some of these players have to work dead-end jobs while they're in college just to get by and feed themselves. That was prior to all the rule changes. Now, players like Angel Reese is making millions right now. She doesn't want to go to the WNBA, so you're making more at LSU, a college, by your likeness, by being able to take all kinds of like endorsements for the first time. Why would you want to go to the WNBA where your league and is not respected and you will be forgotten? You're going to go there and who cares? Nobody watches. Same thing with Caitlin from Iowa, one of the best players of all time. Those two best players of all time in college basketball, women's college basketball. It's being watched because it's competitive. Same thing with men's college basketball is way more competitive right now than the NBA because they play defense. It's unselfish. You don't see guys going off for 45, 60 points, shooting three-pointers from half court, no defense. They play real defense, and that's what the Adam Silver, Commissioner Penis Head, and all these other people don't understand in these professional leagues, especially basketball. You got to cater to the fan. And right now, they're catering to the 20%. They're not catering to the 80% that pays your bills, that pays these outrageous contracts. And you mean to tell me these guys keep making more money in the NBA and they're not producing and they're not playing, they don't give a shit? Well, the fans won't give a shit. And the same thing goes for college or for the WNBA. The more and more you complain at us and tell us how we're all bigots, the more that you tell us how that we're not real fans and we don't enjoy the game. You don't put on a good performance, number one. And if you shut up and actually play, we might just watch. But you keep turning us off because you nag. And it's beginning to be that way for the NBA too. The NBA got into social justice stuff. Whether it's right or wrong, I don't need someone to be telling me how to live my life. Just play the damn game we pay you for. We don't pay you to be a social justice warrior. Yet if we come out and say that, we're bigots. So it's not just me. It's a lot of fans have been turned off by not only basketball, NFL, any other sport that gets out there and tries to tell you how to live your life. It shouldn't be that way, or tell you how to watch, what to watch. It used to be that the product on the field, the product on the court, the product in the stadium would dictate what was good for you to watch or me to watch because we wanted to watch. We didn't want to be told to watch. Newsflash, even a child, even adult don't like to be told to do things. When COVID went down, people did not like to be told to stay inside and stuff like that. It's a human nature to want to live your own life, to want to have your own perspective on things. And it's human nature to be in control of things, to have free will. And if you don't have free will and if people are trying to force shit on you, you tend to back away. Most people do. Some people fall together like sheep and say, hey, whatever they say, I'm going to do. Whether it's health concerns, whether it's watching a certain program because something's been hyped up, going to see a movie because it's like, oh, I don't even know anything about World War II, but I want to watch Oppenheimer because it's going to win so many Academy Awards. And that's fine. You can be like that, but that's not the majority of people. Some people or most people like to make decisions based on what they feel is right or wrong or what they like or do not like. And I think that's problem number one when it comes to sports and when it comes to especially the WNBA and the NBA, trying to push things on us, trying to say that this is better when women's college basketball just outdid the NBA on a regular season night because they had more compelling matchups and most people wanted to watch the females play. So then the WNBA looks at that and says, whoa, we're getting more popular. Shove this down your face on ESPN. Newsflash again. The college game right now in the WNBA, or not the WNBA, in women's college basketball and men's college basketball is completely better product than the WNBA and the NBA. It's just plain and simple. People rather watch the college right now than the pros, and that should tell you something. That should wake them up. That should get them into meetings and to change things. But no, we're going to continue with the same narrative, pushing strong female characters in the WNBA, and then the NBA pushing whatever message or saying that everything's fine. We could shit on our fans. We don't have to show up tonight. We could shoot threes. We could play no defense. You get better games in rec centers, it seems like. You could see better games in Venice Beach, more talent or people that actually care. So with that being said, let me tie this in to Marvel. Because look at this right here. This is drawings from the new X-Men 97. Now, they've added some things to it that some people don't like. That's fine, whatever. But look at how this is right here. I wanted to bring this up because in sports, they try to force, especially in basketball, force stars on you. It used to be watch the Knicks take on the Pacers. They made it all about now player versus player, LeBron versus Tatum from Boston and LA, instead of saying the Celtics, Lakers, and bringing up the mystique. No, let's just bring up one player here, the stars here, and forget about everyone. That's why nobody knows the bench players on these NBA teams, because it's just focusing in on one player versus another player. That's it. So it's like the Giannis Antetokounmpos take on Jimmy Butler from Miami. That's it. You know what I mean? Like there's no incorporating the teams like we grew up watching. So with X-Men right here, let me bring this up real quick. As far as the females are concerned, I'm all over the place, but just follow me. The females right here were strong characters. They had good backstories already. Rogue right here, even Jubilee, who shot fireworks out of her hands. She was a main character. She had Asian descent. Back in the 90s, was this cartoon trying to show you how to live your life? Was this cartoon trying to incorporate, hey, we gotta hit this this standard for race? We gotta have a certain amount of representation. It was already there. The brilliant comic book writers wrote a good story for the X-Men. They always had good characters in it. Say what you want to say about their movies of late. A couple of them I've liked, but they write in characters that are diverse. They don't have to shove it down your throat and say, look, diverse. We've got women. We've got with this race and that race. No, they write a good story and the character fits because they put it there. And they give a good backstory. They don't say, hey, this person's automatically great, suck it, and move on. So that being said right there, you got that right there. You got Cyclops. Look at all these characters right here. X-Men, like Storm, one of my favorite X-Men characters. She's one of the most powerful characters. They wrote all these female characters into it. You didn't have to be like, okay, we need a race swap. We need to change. We need to do this. We need to do that. And I think that's the whole thing that a lot of guys get upset with, because the same thing with the comic book industry. The comic book industry is about 70 to 75% male audience, right? Grew up watching it, grew up reading it, the cartoons or the comics and following and stuff like that. They're pandering to the 25% or less, or those that are on the outside that don't watch the movies, that don't read the comics, and that just want to see their representation in these movies. Whether it's a race, whether it's a sex or orientation, there's always that 25% or less that want to be represented in this stuff and make a big bitch and moan to where they change characters and they screw up the story, and then no one wants to see it. Well, in the NBA, it's the same thing. If you stick to the game, most sports fans are about 75%, maybe 80% male. But the thing is, they pander to the 20%. So even in the NFL, you have to do all this soft bullshit. It's like, stick to the sport, stick to the fun, stick to your fans, relate to your fans. That's what keeps people engaged. The other 20%, if they're not there, they're not the ones buying the jerseys. They're not the ones paying for the tickets. You're screwing over your core fan base. In the NBA, they do a lot. In the WNBA, they wish they had a core fan base, but they're pushing away the male audience. They may have some female audience, they may have some male audience, but you mean to tell me that you're going to catch me as a fan not just because you have a poor product on the court, but the fact that you're telling me I'm a bigot if I don't watch, that I suck because I don't watch, that I don't know sports because I don't watch. It's like, well, then put on a fucking good product. That's why I don't watch the NBA. You can't tell me to watch it because it sucks. It's not the NBA. They changed everything. So that relates to comic books too. I used to be a huge comic book fan. I still kind of do reading, I haven't read one in a while, but I still like my core Batman, Spider-Man, X-Men, stuff like that. And I haven't been able to stay involved or engaged, or when there's a new movie or something coming up, I just roll my eyes on all these movies, on all these TV shows, because one, it's oversaturated in the media. They got too many goddamn shows. Disney's just exploited and ruined the franchise of the comic books. And then there's always a message. It's always a strong female character. It's never a character that has to work through things to get to something. It's just automatically you're great. Automatically you're pushed ahead. They make the male, again, men make up the majority. Why would you make men weird or stupid or weak? And watching like in The Woman King, there's the lead actress is 57 years old. She beats up a dude that's like in his 20s, 3 times her size. None of that makes sense. And that's not even a superhero movie. That's just an action movie. And then Kylo Ren, like ruins the damn Star Wars franchise because she doesn't have a flaw. She's perfect in everything she does. The males are just an afterthought. You have all these, look, again, Star Wars is a male-dominated fan base for the most part. And again, what do? They make Ahsoka. They make all these other stuff that's just all females, making males look stupid. None of the movies give them any powers anymore. The legacy characters destroyed. And in Marvel, same thing. You kill off your important characters. You mean to tell me you can't recast? They recast, and there's like, oh well, the actors are getting old, or they don't want to do the movies. Like Robert Downey Jr. doesn't want to do Iron Man. They recast Batman every other movie almost. There's a new Batman, and guess what? Batman always makes money in the fucking theaters. Even as many times they tell the story of his parents getting killed, they still find a new way to make it, and they stick to the story. And that's why sometimes, even with Ben Affleck, that made a lot of money, even though people hated it. Even with George Clooney back in the day, you can do it because there's a story there. The Joker, all that stuff. A lot of Batman fans wish that, hey man, let's make a Clayface. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's use some of his other enemies that are in the comics, that are in the cartoons. Let's bring them instead of using the same Joker. But what do? They feed off a Joker, and they could still make a good ass movie. They recast all the times. You have different adaptations of that character. So you could do the same thing with all these characters that supposedly died off in the MCU. And now they're trying to just bring back member berries by saying, hey, you know what? It's alternate universes. It's this, it's that. It's like, come on, man. You're losing everybody. And that's why the WNBA and the NBA are the same way. They're losing everybody because they're not sticking to what would grow the game. The game! Get away from the social justice things. Get away from pushing people honest and the message honest. Just play the sport and people will come. You know what I mean? Like promote the game the right way. Stop bitching at us. So there's the X-Men slide. Let's get to this right here. Look, the next one here. Look at these characters right here. Look at how many females are here. This is way before this whole idea of, oh, we need to have strong female representation. We need to gender swap all these characters. They're talking about Silver Surfer has never really made a real appearance in an MCU movie. We're going to kill him off right away and make him female. Why? You know why? That's what we wanted to see, was finally Silver Surfer making. Guess what? Going to be female. That's awesome. Awesome. But you don't need that. You already got good characters with good storylines. But no, let's change it up. See, I got good characters right there. Here's what it looked like right here. This is when the MCU was making money. Up until Endgame, and it was literally Endgame, because after Endgame was gone, boom, it sucked. Yeah, good characters right there. Except Ant-Man. I still think Ant-Man sucks ass. There's more good characters right here from all the different genres. You got Spider-Man, you got MCU, DC right there. And then you get this. You get this. Nobody cares about Echo. But that was representation, making men look stupid. And the same thing with She-Hulk. Terrible. And nobody likes Brie Larson. Brie Larson is like the wart on your ass. Like, you just can't wait to get rid of it. And when you sit on your ass, you feel it every time. So every time you see her, you're like, oh, come on, man. Like I don't want to, you have those feelings of hate because she's a hateful character. Look, that character, we all know from the comics, was strong all the way down, right? Even before when it was Mr. Marvel, but when you turn her into Miss Marvel, it's fine. She had a backstory. They've always tried to make her good, whatever. However, get someone likable. She's not likable at all. She's terrible. She's a terrible human being, even in real life. And I'm not afraid to say it. So next slide right here. Here's a character. This is what it's turned into. As a boy growing up, you see all these characters right here. Where's my representation? Where's the little boy? How can the little boy get all excited about this? Yes, you're pandering to 1 out of 10, maybe 1 out of 12 MCU fans. That's not going to do anything. We're not going to get excited over that. Again, it's a male-dominated genre of fans, and you're throwing this at us, and you're like, there's still way too many way too many males. We need more females. Really? I don't see it. We continue on. Now, this is what's good with basketball right here. I knew nothing of either of the two of these characters last year. Characters, by the way. Basketball players. I didn't know that Caitlin was so good. I didn't know that she was that good. Angel Reese. I didn't know about the LSU Tigers. But guess what? When this whole thing went down last year, and you had LSU Iowa, and it was the Final Four or whatever, and they were playing a title game, and she did that, that set her brand off. Love her or hate her, that set her brand off. She's now a millionaire, multi-millionaire, and she's still in college. Caitlin is a multi-millionaire. They both have endorsements. They both are excellent players. They both do not say stupid shit in the media. So she has her fan base. She has her fan base. They're both controversial, but it makes us talk about the sport. That's a good thing. My fear, though, is that they will go to the WNBA and they will be indoctrinated into that league and be told what to tell you and me, and we will no longer have any likability for them. That's the problem with that sport, is they will turn them in the WNBA to strong female characters instead of playing off of what they already are, which is great athletes, and experiencing them and putting them on teams that will highlight the league. They will push the fact that men still don't care instead of and pay us and pay us and pay us. Nobody wants to hear that. What if men did that? Because when men do that, and we've heard guys complain and bitch and moan about contracts, we call them out all the time. And that's my problem with females in men's sports, which is another video altogether. But this is what needs to be promoted. And these kind of players, why would you go to a failing league like the WNBA? Like, literally, these players will probably choose another year of college, make a few more $1 million, and if they're smart, invest it, and maybe they'll play in the WNBA for fun. But it won't be their normal job. They're not going to make no money there. I think the highest paid player is maybe $1 million or something like that, $2 million. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous, and there's a reason why they're paid so less. But I say for those girls, go get it. That's the future of the WNBA if the WNBA is smart. But they're not. They do everything ass backwards. They're going to complain, bitch, and moan instead of prop these girls up. And let me tell you something. These women with makeup on, I'm just saying, look, men look terrible too when they play sports and they're sweaty and they have their hair up or whatever like that. But when men get dressed up afterward, hey, they're handsome, females like them. And, there's a reason why Travis Kelce has a women fan base, not only because of Taylor Swift or guys like the tight end for the Niners, Kittle. People look at Purdy and all these other players in the NFL. Like some people like Lamar, or they look at the CJ Stroud and they're like, hey, man, these guys are handsome, blah, blah, blah. They get females to follow the sport because they like how they look. And you can get men to do the same thing with these females and say, man, they look beautiful. You can advertise them like this because of how they are on the court, but you get them dressed up on a red carpet or before a game or something like that. And guess what? They become models. So that's my whole thing. The marketability could be there for the WNBA, even though the sport isn't that good. But sometimes you got to go to old bag of tricks to get the new bag of tricks to work. The old bag of tricks is sex sells. And if you got to use it, then use it. Don't abuse it. Next slide here. I feel like I'm telling someone it's not there. And then we got chicks like this. She's insufferable. I don't even know her name. But every time you type in NBA sucks, this face pops up. Now, I know she's won a couple titles. That's about all I know. She plays for the Aces. But every time you hear her talk, it's bitch, 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 bitch. Instead of just, hey, look at how we're playing. This is excellent basketball, blah. Even if you're blowing smoke up our ass, promote the game. No, bitch, 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 bitch. That's all she does. That's literally all she does. Look at that face. Come on now. It's terrible. Moving on. And then look at this, okay? Say what you want. I still think he's a man. There's plenty of pictures online where you can Google and see him without I think he's Bob, not Brittany. But you can see him without a shirt on. And by God, he's got a flatter chest than me. I've got bigger tits. All I'm saying is this. This is what the WNBA didn't need, which was a political prisoner by her own doing. Say what you want about Russia's laws, but a law is a law. You break one here, you face consequences. She broke one there, which she shouldn't. And she was in Russia to make more money than the WNBA. She literally made $8 million a year over there compared to less than 2, maybe 1 something here after taxes. You do the math. And it's for less games over there as well. But she knew the consequences of her actions, and she went over there and got busted and was lucky she had a woke-ass president to get her out. So that was a black eye for the league because the league now tore whatever fan base it had against each other because one believed one way was right, one believed one way was wrong. And then you had the nation going against it, and they're like, who are these people? That's not how you wanted to promote the game, but that was circumstance, and that happened. That's another thing that's wrong with it, right?
144 women
Then you got this.
that get this blessing to have the opportunity. Nobody's really retiring, and every year it comes in great talent. So it's the highest level of basketball. And if you love basketball, you love the WNBA.
Yep. If you love basketball, you love the WNBA. Really? Smaller ball? Shaq said it best. Lower the rims and they'll dunk. Because when she said that you got the highest level of basketball, you had this. All males, for the most part, were like,
what?
Check this out.
Put this one away. Jones going to work.
Bruh.
A turnover at the top of the key.
What is this?
Here, Ruffin Pratt, and she passed that to us, Mary. So that.
Juana Bonner, Christy Tolliver, Kayla McBride, and Simone Augustus out there.
Now, before I play this next highlight, just check this out. That was Griner right there running over there. My thing is this. Most fans, if you check out the WNBA, you look into the stands, the entire top bowl of the arena empty, right? Even almost sometimes when they get to the finals or in the playoffs, still empty. Most of those tickets are giveaways. You can literally pay $30 and sit courtside. Believe me, I was tempted once, but I know I would get my ass kicked out for saying something insensitive. So that's just me. But again, Strong female characters. You can push this league. You just got to do it the right way. You can't do it how they're doing it in movies right now. Like the man bad. You can't promote it. Because then you get stuff like this. Then the real fans look at it and say, why would I watch this trash? Look, this is their highlights basically.
Deladon.
Look at
Reiner left alone.
Oh, yeah.
Can't
Yeah, you can't lower the rim, right?
put down the jam.
She cannot. Cloud up the floor. Tolliver. Nice pass to Atkins. Too strong.
Now, see, here's the thing. And I'll just say this. In a fight, if you're in a street fight, why do you think women who get punched by a guy, why do you think the guys beat the shit out of the guy who punches the woman for the most part? If you've ever seen those World Star videos or whatever like that, or you see a woman get slapped or whatever, they always go after the guy. And why do you think when you see women slap men and for the most part, a respectful dude, whether it's his fault mouthing off or treating the woman bad, even if it's his fault or if it's not his fault and she just has rage issues, why do you see men just, for the most part, the respectful ones, walk away while they're still getting hit? Because they know all it takes is one punch and you can knock a chick out. And you never want to hit a woman. Believe me, I'm not advocating that at all, but that's the reality. Men are built stronger no matter what. Just because you transition into a man from a woman still won't give you the strength. Because if a trans person passes away somehow, some way out in the desert, the jungle, and they find their body parts as a skeleton, they're going to identify them as a female because of the bone structure. Nothing changes just because you transitioned. So my point being is this: in movies and in the comics, when they do all this race swapping or not, or just like gender swapping, and they have women just beat the shit out of men, men don't like seeing that because they know it's not real. Not that they want to see men beat the crap out of females, but it would take like 2 or 3 women to beat up a dude instead of like, hey, let's just make the men weak. When that's the core audience, they don't want to watch it. They don't want to watch that. And in basketball, same thing. If we're being told over and over, these are the best female basketball players on the court, well, then show us. Stop complaining. Stop forcing it on us. Stop pushing it on us. Let us watch. If your play is good, we'll watch. Just like these startup leagues with the USFL and stuff like that, it got decent ratings last year. That's why they're coming back again. Nobody knows half those players out there. They just want to see a good game. And eventually you'll grow the game. You'll grow the fans. You'll get people to like certain teams because of logos, because of colors, because of players. And the same thing could be said for the WNBA. Stop pushing this on us. Stop comparing them to the NBA. The NBA's got its own problems. Because if you keep pushing the WNBA on us, we're going to keep playing videos like this.
Got caught under the hoop.
You get to see Sue Bird on the court this year after spending the season last year. Very nice. And I know you guys FaceTime with Neck at practice yesterday.
Beautiful.
Oh yeah, so so you know what's funny? When she won a championship, she actually
Check this out, by the way.
I was in China and I wanted to be there so bad.
Travel.
But she actually FaceTimed me.
We still got time on the 24.
I can't believe
Nice shot.
teammate crying right there.
That was Griner again.
And you feel so good. that
Nice
her
ball
persistence
fake.
is paying off.
Nice layup.
As Howard just blew the bunny.
Nice
And the second
putback.
one. And now they're gonna
Way to
jump
lose
the
it out of
underneath,
bounds.
And it's out of bounds off Phoenix.
Great point is Natasha.
This is awesome right here.
Has been
Check this out.
outstanding this entire year.
Look. She's got this.
18 points
She's
and
got
8
this.
rebounds.
She traveled, by the way,
Way, but
before, and she misses a shot. What can I say? What can I say? If you build it, they will come. Field of dreams. Build it. You don't necessarily have to promote it in the way that other people tell you to promote it. Promote the game, and people will come. Promote your message, whether it's movie, sports, what have you. People will stay away. And that's just the reality.
Welcome to the Unfiltered Sports Network, where we believe in keeping it real and telling it like it is. No more are the days of sugarcoating or ESPN-style politically correct take. No. This is the place where real sports fans gather to talk about the stuff that truly matters. From the latest headlines, transactions, controversial news, we've got you covered. Join us as we dive into the unfiltered world of sports, where passion meets authenticity. Hit that like and subscribe button for more raw, honest, and uncensored discussions that will leave you craving for more. This is the Unfiltered Sports Network, where real sports fans talk about real shit.